welcome back to Movie Sandwiches, and in this video, we will review the adventures of Jurassic Pet movie. In the opening scene, an elderly man peacefully fishes by a secluded lake until a strange sound disrupts the tranquility. Sensing danger, he hastily collects his fishing gear and retreats. Along the way, he stumbles upon a mysterious, oversized egg that piques his curiosity. However, as he turns, a colossal dinosaur emerges, revealing the egg's source. The scene then shifts 5 years ahead to a laboratory facility where a team of scientists conducts an experiment involving an expedile. Dr. Jost, the lead scientist, administers a modified serum and initiates low-level radiation, causing the expedile to grow more aggressive. To regain control, Dr. Jost orders his colleague to administer a double dose of tranquilizers. Still unsatisfied with the results, Dr. Jost instructs his team to take tissue samples from every organ and cryo-freeze the creature's body. The pressure mounts as Dr. Jost struggles to unlock the missing pieces of his experiment, fearing the loss of funding. In the next scene, a group of schoolchildren visits a museum with their teacher, who educates them about dinosaurs and their history. Among the students, Chris stands out as a dinosaur enthusiast, captivated by the majestic skeletal displays. While exploring the museum, Chris becomes lost in thought but is brought back to reality by his friends John and Carrie. After the field trip, Chris decides to explore a store named World of Wonders while his friends head home. Inside, the same elderly man from the opening scene greets Chris, assuming he's there for toys. However, Chris expresses his desire to see something extraordinary. In response, the old man presents an ancient mummified cat from Egypt, but Chris remains unsatisfied. Chris requests something truly unique, and the old man brings out a mysterious box, offering it to Chris without charge on the condition that he cares for its contents. Chris accepts, takes the box home, and discovers the same dinosaur egg. Chris watches a YouTube video to learn how to hatch the egg, wraps it in warm clothing, and eagerly waits. That evening, he skips his favorite dessert in his anticipation. The egg begins making sounds, hatches, and a baby dinosaur emerges, startling Chris. As Chris lifts the hatchling, it slips from his grasp and causes chaos in his room before hiding under the bed. Chris befriends the baby dinosaur, offering it candies and his favorite dessert, and they quickly bond. Chris names the baby dinosaur Albert. The next day, Chris hides Albert in his backpack and goes to school. Albert pops out, drawing the attention of John and Kari. While John is scared, Kari finds Albert adorable. Chris confides in them about Albert's origin and decides to take Albert to the old man's store. Upon their arrival, Chris is shocked to find that the store has a new owner, an elderly woman. The woman reveals that her husband, the old man from before, passed away 5 years ago. Chris is left bewildered about what to do with Albert as the dinosaur grows rapidly. Chris visits a dinosaur museum in search of guidance, where he crosses paths with Dr. Jost, who is meeting with the museum's curator for a new dinosaur skeleton sample. As Chris explores the museum, Albert escapes from his bag, leading Chris on a chase. Dr. Jost spots Albert and pursues the baby dinosaur. Chris finally catches Albert but is confronted by Dr. Jost, who demands to see the contents of his bag. Frightened, Chris flees with Albert. On their way home, Albert starts making noise, prompting Chris to go to a nearby department store for food. Not knowing what to buy, Albert's head appears from the bag, alarming a customer's dog. Albert escapes, causing chaos and a store-wide chase. Chris tries to retrieve Albert, but the dinosaur ends up in a car trunk. The car owner, upon discovering Albert, panics and retrieves a shotgun, intending to shoot it. However, Albert escapes and the car owner calls the police, who capture Albert in a large cell. And unable to identify the creature, the authorities contact Dr. Jost, a reptile specialist. Chris arrives at the scene, follows the police to the station, and meets the old man again. The man informs Chris that dinosaurs belong in the wild, not cages. Chris is torn about what to do with Albert, who is rapidly growing. The old man offers to help him rescue Albert, and they embark on a journey to the lab facility in the forest. Along the way, they encounter Chris's father at a red light, but they quickly drive away, trying to avoid recognition. Dr. Jost arrives at the facility, revealing the dinosaur to his team. Albert's presence terrifies everyone. The old man's buggy accelerates uncontrollably, leading to a crash. They continue on foot, encountering guards at the facility's entrance. The old man uses a trick to divert the guards while Chris sneaks in. He finds Albert imprisoned in a tent, but two guards apprehend him. The old man arrives just in time, and they overpower the guards and release Albert. They flee the facility, chased by Dr. Jost and his team. In the forest, the old man convinces Chris that Albert's natural habitat is the only safe place for him. Chris reluctantly says goodbye to Albert. As they return to town, Dr. Jost and his team confront Chris and the old man, demanding the dinosaur. A police car interrupts the confrontation, forcing Dr. Jost's team to retreat. Chris and the old man sit outside the World of Wonders store, where John and Kari approach. Chris reveals that he released Albert into the forest, leaving his friends confused. Chris notices the old man waving goodbye before he disappears, and the movie ends with the echoing roar of Albert from the forest depths.